Hey, hello everybody. Check out my DJI Mini drone, baby. It's cool. Well, we're not going to talk a whole lot about the drone today. We are going to do some flying, so if you stick around, you're going to see it. What you need if something bad happens, you might need a drone, because if you don't know what's going on in your area or your neighborhood, you can go right outside your house, put this on the ground, go up 2 or 3 up to 400 feet, scout around and bring it right back down. Nobody will know that you was ever up there. So that's what drones are good for in a SHIT, hit the fan kind of thing, and you need to know what's going on in your neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I just want to talk a little bit about what you're going to do when your power goes out and you don't have any water. And yeah, it has a lot to do with the DJI Mini 2 drone, or whatever drone that you prefer, because you want to know what's going on. And this is one way to see. But you know, they keep harping on this. That's the wrong word. I shouldn't have said harping. They keep talking about global warming and stuff. And you know, the earth is going to be here long after humans are gone. Out in California, they're having a water shortage, and they're blaming it on global warming. There was a thing out in California called the Gold Rush one time, which a lot of people went out there, and a lot of people stayed out there. But in 1931, they figured out, with the amount of people moving into California and the West, they were going to have water and electricity. So what they did, they started building the Hoover Dam. And so in 1931, they started the Hoover Dam. They had 5 years to finish it. Well, in California in 1931, the population was around 5 million people, okay? But we're going to check, we're going to see how this correlates with global warming. Because they say the water is evaporating out of Lake Mead because of global warming, okay? So in Arizona in 1931, there was 400,000 people in Arizona. In New Mexico, there was 400,000. Colorado, 56,000. There was only 56,000 in Colorado in 1931. Nebraska was 384,000. I don't understand that, but that's what Google says, and that's what the encyclopedia says if you look it up. Utah had 513 in 1931. Now that's the population, and if you've got a pencil and a paper, you can write those down. Pause the video and go back and write those down and keep up with the numbers, because you're going to see what global warming, if it's global warming or not. Now, I'm not saying that our temperatures aren't high. They are. But is it normal or is it not normal? So they finished the dam in 1936, and they had all the water and electricity they could possibly want. Never gonna run out. Well, they were wrong. Because as time goes on, things change. We as an American country, which are a country of immigrants, we decided that we were gonna bring in 1 million people a year from around the world that want to come to the United States and be citizens. And so that was going to cause growth in America, 1 million people a year, which is fine. We got plenty of land, okay? But now here we are in 2021, and California went from 5 million to 39 million people. 39 million people in California. Arizona, they went from 400,000 to 7 million. New Mexico, they went from 400,000 to over 2 million. Colorado If that's right, that 56,000 in 1931, I don't know if that's right. I think it's right. But today in Colorado, they have almost 4 million people. Nebraska had 1 million, and now they have 6 million. If you add all that up, in 1931, now this is out west now, and I know I'm in the east, and you're going to ask, well, what does this have to do with me in the east? I'm going to tell you. So, in 1931, there was 9 million people in those few states. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states. In those same 6 states today, there's over 60 million that we know of. That's a lot of people. And if I can find the video, I'll put it up. But there was a farmer on the news yesterday that was talking about the reservoir that he gets his water out in California has gone completely dry. So now he has 2 or 3 different sources that he gets his water from, his wells, I guess, and whatever. But now most of his farmland is laying dormant. He said that the crops should be up to his waist. He hasn't even planted anything because the reservoir that he gets his water from has run dry. He has no water. But is it global warming?
We've seen this before. Gunnison Reservoir near Sterling in Sanpete County is now listed at 0% capacity.
That reservoir is mostly used for agriculture, but it's another example of the drought we're in. News specialist Alex Cabrero spoke with a farmer who draws water from Gunnison and wonders what this means going forward.
It can be tough to tell if you didn't know, but there's supposed to be a lot of water here.
Yeah, this year is something different. This is something I've never seen before.
In the past week, Gunnison Reservoir in Sanpete County dried up. It's now listed at 0% capacity.
Yeah.
And Stan Jensen is worried because he's a farmer in nearby center field. Although he gets water from several sources, Gunnison Reservoir is normally a big one.
Instead of having all my water on, I've got my smallest irrigator on part of the time, and that's all I can do.
Normally, you'd see corn and other crops growing this time of year on his farm, but like the reservoir, this year, it looks a lot different.
That shouldn't be brown. That should just be lush and green, and it should be all the way up to our knees or a little above it with just this beautiful green alfalfa.
It also means a lot of farm vehicles sitting silent, and projects like this house Jensen was building for his family put on hold.
You don't dare sink yourself in too deep of a hole.
And for as shocking as it is to see a reservoir go dry, Utah's Division of Water Resources says it may not be the last one this year.
There are a few that are projected to run out of water this year, particularly in the Sevier River Basin. Paiute and Otter Creek, I believe, are 2 others that are projected to go to 0.
There's also really nothing that can be done to reverse that course this year, unless we get several big rainstorms. Right now, the water we're using in Utah is mostly snowpack from past years.
This is all from probably 2019, maybe some from 2020, but we're living off of previous year's stored water. And that's why our reservoirs we're seeing, some record low levels.
Of course, there's always hope for next year, something farmers always say.
We're just to a point where we're doing the best that we can.
And something Jensen hopes will make this reservoir recognizable again.
Lake Mead is down 125 or 150 feet at the time of this video, and it would take a year of steady raining to get that back up to where it's at. But even if you did, would it sustain it? I mean, how long would it last? Maybe a few years? Because we have went from 9 million to 60 million people in that area using those resources. The way to replenish the water in California is to slow down the population growth. And I don't know the answer to that. There's people smarter than me that's going to have to figure that out. But the big problem for the whole United States is that when you run out of water in Lake Mead and you got 60 million people out there in that area that's not going to have water, that water also turns 17 turbines at the Lake Mead Hoover Dam. So that generates a lot of power for millions of people. So what's going to happen then. Most people don't know this, but the grid, the electrical grid in the United States, it's all connected by these big old power lines up here. Let me just show you. I mean, they might not be directly connected, but those lines, you can see all the way down the road down there. These lines, they go from the East Coast to the West Coast. And they are connected. So what's going to happen, they already have brownouts. They call them brownouts, but I don't know how long the power goes out in California in those areas. But it does go out for a while so they can give power to other areas. But I do know how this is going to work. When Lake Mead goes down, and they say it's going down faster now than it was, so it's going to happen pretty fast. When the water level continues to go down, those turbines are going to stop turning and the power is going to go off on those turbines. You got to have so much head pressure pushing down on those turbines and so much water flow. Let me see, I think I wrote that down. Okay, those turbines, there's 17 turbines. They use 1.5 million gallons per second of water. 1.5 million, that's to keep those turbines moving. And when those turbines stop moving, then they're going to have to call on all the other states in the upper 48 to help them with power out there. And what that's going to do is put a strain on our power system everywhere else. So I'm going to make some more videos after this video telling you how to use your DJI Mini 2 drone or whatever drone you have to kind of look around and see what's going on in your area and kind of keep up with this, because when they run out of water and electricity, they're either going to be moving this way or they're going to have to transfer some power from here to there. They're going to have to bottle up water from here to take it there. And what you're just shuffling stuff around. You're not fixing anything. You got to fix the problem. And what's the answer to that? I'll let you let your mind run on that, and you can come up with the answer for that, because I don't know if there is an answer. You know what the answer is. Fewer people is the answer, but that's not going to happen. The U.S. population in 1931, this is for the whole state, all states, it was 124 million people, 124. Today in 2021, we know of 350 million people. There's probably closer to 400 million if you count all the people that's not counted in the census count. So if you still think after this video that global warming is the problem at Lake Mead, you're gonna have to explain that to me. If you use more than's coming down the river, it only makes so much water and that's it. The planet only has so many resources and that's it. So I'm getting hoarse now. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you later. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for future videos. You guys have a fantastic day.